I would love to have her down here.
I have a music story on Twin Peaks. I guess we were shooting the feature, and we were doing a nighttime scene. That's the music reminds me of it. We were out in the middle of the forest, pitch black. That's where the Laura and oh my goodness, Bobby, not Bobby, James, not James. Yeah, I forgot the dark. I have a senior moment, but they were out with flashlights in the scene.
Oh yeah, Bobby.
Bobby, yeah, it was one. And we were out in the middle of the forest, and it was pitch black. I put up a couple of lights, and David said, "It's too bright out here." I said, "Well, David, the kids have flashlights, and I got to kind of see the forest." And he said, "It's too bright," because I think I had 2 lights bouncing in a white card to just give a little bit of ambiance. And he said, "It's too bright." So I put a couple of doubles in it and knocked it down. He said, "It's too bright." I said, "But you're looking at the big bright thing right here. Don't look at that. Look where the camera's looking." And he said, "Ron, it's too bright." So I kept knocking it down. And finally he said, "No." And so I finally pulled the white card away and just bounced it in some trees. It was nighttime, so it was a little bit of ambience because I didn't want it to go grainy because of the film. And he looked at me, and we weren't mad at each other. We were just kind of artistically trying to get our stuff done. And he said, "So where's that light coming from?" And I thought a minute, and I said, "The same place your music comes from." And he let me leave a little light. He looked at me, and I thought I was fired, right? But I survived.
Mark, tell us about working with your dad.
Well, that was kind of cool. Reverse nepotism. I had introduced my dad to David. My dad was living in New York at the time, and I had grown up watching him as a struggling actor. I mean, he'd show up on Perry Mason every once in a while, and he was in a movie with Debbie Reynolds, and we'd all gather in front of the TV. But he'd had to give up that dream for almost 20 years and became a teacher at the University of Minnesota. And he kind of hit his stride as an actor in his late 50s, early 60s. He was a character actor, and that was when he came into his own. He was doing a soap in New York, and we'd written the character of the town doctor, and it was based a little bit on my grandfather, who was a doctor in a small town like that. And I said, "I think you should meet my dad. I don't want to insist on it, but you tell me." So they had this very cryptic meeting, I think in a coffee shop in New York. I wasn't there, where they kind of just came. My dad's a very taciturn, he's a New Englander from Vermont. They just kind of sat across from each other and nodded. Had some coffee, and David called me up and said, "He's the right guy for the part." And so I said, "That's great, I don't have to insist on it," and it worked out great. And then, if you don't remember, he later married Grace on Seinfeld. And their daughter Susan nearly married George. So it was a lot of fun having him around.
Were there other parts that were tailored to specific people other than, say, Kyle?
Well, no. I mean, Kyle. We actually wrote the part before we knew it was going to be Kyle, and then one day we just kind of looked at each other and said, "Wait a minute, this is Kyle," and that worked out pretty well. And then there were a couple of guest roles where I guess we tailored things for people. I mean, we brought the great Michael Parks back for a sequence, 3 or 4 episodes. I later directed him in Storyville, a feature I did that Ron shot, and that kind of helped bring Michael back in focus. He's a tremendous actor. Did you know him from New Orleans? Were you down there when he was there?
No.
Okay, he was there after you, I guess. David Duchovny you'll see when makes his debut on Twin Peaks in a kind of a fun way. Heather Graham, we found a lot of people right at the start who we were pretty excited about. Billy Zane was on the show. And then we also liked reaching back and finding people like Royal Dano, who was a great actor who came in and did a couple episodes for us. And that was actually a part we almost got Gregory Peck to play. His kids really wanted him to do it, and I remember having a conversation with him on the phone. And I honestly thought someone was calling me up and doing an impression of Gregory Peck, but it was really him, and he declined at the last minute, so we got Royal Dano, which is not exactly that bad as a replacement. So it was a lot of fun bringing in people like that. David Warner, Dan Hurley, just remembering a lot of people as they come back to me. It was great.
The pilot, I mean, typically pilots, feel free to tell me that I'm totally wrong, have a lot more time and sometimes budget to be made. What changes happen when you have to then take that look, that structure, and move it into something that needs to be produced a lot faster?
You just do everything the same, only quicker. I mean, we had, 18 days to shoot the pilot, something like that? Think about that.
Boy, that's 18 days now. Everybody does it in 8.
I know. And then we shot the shows, I think, in 8 days. Didn't we? 7? Was it 7? And then there were times when we overlapped a little bit from one episode to the other, so we'd send 2 directors out to catch scenes on the same night if we were in a location that we knew we were going to use. So we were kind of a small guerrilla unit. We didn't affiliate with a studio. We did the show ourselves. We owned the show ourselves. We did not want to be a studio show. So it was, in the best sense, it was kind of the, Mickey Rooney, Judy Garland, my uncle's got a barn,
Yep.
I've got a curtain. And we rented a 50,000 square foot warehouse out in Van Nuys. Built all those great sets based on the locations that we found in Washington. The great Richard Hooper did all that for us. And you could literally walk in the door of the Great Northern Hotel, take a left, and you'd be like in Sarah's bedroom, and then you'd take a right, and you'd be in the jail, and then you'd go around the corner, and there was the Double R Diner. And then the Roadhouse, I think, was right next to the diner, if I remember correctly. So it was just, it was like you took all that and just went like this, and then you just had to do the same with your pace. It helped that we started getting the scripts down to manageable levels. We only had to do, 5 pages a day instead of 8 or 10. And we made it work.
Tell us a little bit about how you chose who would direct which episode.
Well, we knew David was going to do that first one coming back. Then we had Duwayne set to do 2, and we started asking, we were both with CAA at the time, and we asked them to send us all their good directors, and I started requesting people that I liked. Leslie Glatter came to us, I think through the agency. Tim Hunter was an AFI acquaintance of David's and became a great friend of mine, and he did a number of episodes for us. It was really looking for people that we liked, mostly independent film directors, not got people who had done a lot of network TV. We wanted directors who had a sense of vision. Help me out with some of the other
Caleb
folks.
Deschanel was
Caleb.
married to Mary Jo.
That's right, Caleb, great cinematographer, good director, great guy, did a couple. Graham Clifford, Willie Adele, Diane Keaton.
How did that come about? Because that's a great episode.
Yeah, she did a really good job. It was during that period after the show. See, what's weird about the experience for all of us was that we'd done the pilot and we did the whole first season, and nobody had ever seen any of it. We were operating completely in a vacuum. We were in that little 50,000 square foot warehouse, so we were really away from the world. And then when it hit, like people started calling and saying, "I'd really like to do something on the show." So that's how Diane called us up and said, "I love the show. Can I come in and talk to you about doing one?" And she came in with these great ideas and was thoroughly prepared, and we said, that's a no-brainer. So that's kind of how we brought people along. And then the people that we brought back who really got it, you know, that really helped keep the tone kind of consistent.
So in a moment, I'll open it up to the students. So just because we need to use the microphone, if you guys could start to form a line, we'll get the questions for the camera. Any favorite stories from the set?
Yeah, tons. There are so many. While you're thinking about it, I have just one. I was looking at this the Red Room that we shot after the pilot, or during the pilot. That was just on this last episode you saw on the screen. It was the Red Room where Mr. Anderson walked backwards, and David had said, I guess it was the European ending for the pilot. And he said, we're going to shoot this red room with red curtains. And he wanted the red curtains, which is red in film is just amazingly difficult to shoot. And how am I going to do this? And it was all red. And David said, I like the curtains to glow. So we I had a few lights, not a lot. We got some more lights from somewhere and got these curtains to glow. And they were dark red curtains. Finally got that done. It's spilling all over the actors. And I went, well, I'll have to add a little blue for the skin tones. And after we got it done, he said, Ron, can you kind of put a spotlight going through the red curtains from left to right? And I went, spotlight? And I've had 10Ks pounding these curtains. And I said, well, I'd have to go get an ARC Super Trooper or something. He said, okay, well, let's go get that. So it was happening. It was in the afternoon, so we waited. We had got this Super Trooper, got this light going across, and he said, can you put a shadow of a bird going through the spotlight? And I went, I'm already up like F-22 or something. And so we figured it out, and there was this shadow of this bird going through this circle, going through these hard backlit curtains. And it was quite something. And at the same time, we had to shoot it backwards. And I'm being not that knowledgeable with the Panavision camera, I didn't realize that you could roll it backwards. So I got a Panatape, which is a device they don't use anymore, but you put the camera in there and you can rotate it 360 degrees. So I said, I'll turn the camera upside down and have the eyepiece come up so I can look at it and operate it, and we'll shoot this backwards. So we were doing fine about take 7, 8, or whatever it was. The eyepiece broke, and I couldn't look at it right side up. I had to turn around and operate this way with the camera, and dolly with Mr. Anderson going backwards and do that whole scene you saw. I was on the camera upside down, looking through the eyepiece like this. And I went, I can't believe I'm doing it. But it worked out.
That bird was an owl, by the way.